The leaves are changing color. The air is crisp. Fall is here. Halloween is around the corner, and Tom Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. 2025 is winding down, but we still have 3 monster UFC pay-per-views to close out this year, and UFC 321 is going to kick that off. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC 321 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. We have a brand new fight added to this card. We have 14 fights, most of which are very good. This certainly is not going to be the fight order come fight night, but as of right now, because this is the newest fight, this is the first one we're going to break down. We're going to open up this out of order fight card with Nasrat Haqparast taking on Quillan Salkilld. Nasrat Haqparast, solid striker, good volume. He's landing more than 6 significant strikes per minute. He's got a very good 84% takedown defense. When he can push that pace and he can find a rhythm, he's a very hard guy to beat. But if you stay in his face and you back him up, you can have some success, because even though he's landing more than 6 significant strikes per minute, he is also being hit with more than 6 significant strikes per minute. He's coming off that sketchy decision over Esteban Ibovic, taking on Quillan Salkilld. This guy's a good striker in his own right. He uses kicks really well to manage range. He'll work the body. As soon as you're comfortable striking with him, he's going to lower his level and take a shot. He's a BJJ black belt, overall very well-rounded guy. He can fight at distance. He can fight in the pocket. He's not afraid to fight. He's perfectly fine with an ugly fight, and at times will end up chasing a finish instead of settling in and playing it safe. He's coming off the decision win over Yanal Ashmaus, where he was backed up early, so he decided to start wrestling. This is a really nice addition to this card. It was already a solid card, and then we just get fights like this. A really fun fight with 2 guys that will get after it. Both of these guys put out striking volume. Both of them are more than capable in grappling as well. And I was surprised to see these early odds with Nasrat being a dog. I think Quillan may be the more technical striker, just skill for skill, but Nasrat's volume is probably going to be an issue. The way Quillan wrestled against Inoue because of the pressure isn't going to work here. Nasrat's too good of a wrestler. His takedown defense is too good, and he can work in his own takedowns. Not to mention, Nasrat just seemingly wins these close decisions, whether he should or should not. So Nasrat is going to be the pick. Right now, he's a slight dog. I'm not going to bet it here because this is a really tight fight, but if I see a plus sign in front of Nasrat's money line there, I may make that jump, but I'm going to go ahead and pick a dog right off the rip. Then we're going to pick another dog here. No, we're not picking Louie Sutherland. Look at this bum. We got Valter Walker taking on Louie Sutherland, another new addition to this card. Both of these guys are rebooked. We got a couple of heavyweights that were supposed to fight previously. Their fights were canceled, so here they are. Valter was supposed to fight at UFC Rio a couple of weeks ago. Louie was supposed to fight at UFC Perth about a month ago. Their opponents have been cut. Louie's opponent was cut because he's a fat slob bitch. Valter's opponent was cut because he's an abuser of the steroids, allegedly. He didn't fail a steroid test. His testosterone was elevated. We got Valter Walker. He's a Brazilian who wrestles like a Russian, and that's because he spent the majority of his life in Russia. He is he is Johnny Walker's brother. They have the same mom, different dads, hence the giant physicality. I guess that comes from the mommy, but they are very, very different in their fight style and their upbringing. Valter Walker is going to come forward, look to shoot a takedown instantly. He came into his UFC debut looking like a bag of melted marshmallows. He lost that fight as a hyped, undefeated prospect, went back to the drawing board, went through a wild physical transformation, and since then he has 3 wins in the UFC, and all of them are by heel hook finish. He literally has the record for most heel hooks in UFC history. Most recently was over Kennedy Nzechukwu, where he took maybe the worst wrestling shot in the history of the UFC. He's taking on Louie Sutherland, a heavy-handed striker. He's got that stance of a bodybuilder, like doesn't really move that well, might have to turn sideways. Definitely can't wipe a clean ass. He is a versatile guy, though, especially for somebody with his build. He uses kicks, which how the hell he's getting a kick up there, I don't know, but he's using kicks. He has a long jab. He manages range before committing to power. When he lets his hand go, there's obviously a ton of power in there and a good amount of speed. He can be hittable, and that is concerning at this weight class, but his range management keeps him away. He is by no means a very good wrestler, but he's shot a couple of takedowns in his day. Louie Sutherland is a meathead. He's built like a brick wall. if Valter cannot get this fight to the ground, it is very possible that Louie will create some major problems. I think he'll be fine, though. Valter, at this point in his career, is an actual UFC fighter. The physical transformation he has gone through is genuinely a testament to his work ethic. We are not that far removed from that sloppy bullshit build. And he has completely transformed who he is. He takes his career seriously. We have seen it in the octagon. He's going to be the pick. The minus 300, minus 310. That doesn't seem crazy considering Louie is clearly no longer on the sauce. If you go Google pictures of him and then you look at his UFC weigh-in picture, well, that's a different person, isn't it? That is not the same human being. Guy's clean as a whistle, and that's going to be a problem for him. Then we have Jose Delgado taking on Nathaniel Wood. Jose Delgado, rangy striker. He's going to use kicks to stay on the outside. When he comes in, he fights well inside the pocket. He's got good power. He's got that Mike Tyson upper body movement. He can grapple as well. He's got solid takedowns, good ground and pound. Takedown defense definitely has some holes. He's got really good power. He will take chances with some random spinning techniques. Overall, he's a well-rounded kid. He has all finish wins. He's coming off that massive knee knockout over Haider Emil. He's taking on Nathaniel Wood, a good striker, a solid, powerful guy, a dirty boxing game that most would dream of. And that's a bit of an exaggeration, but he does a really good job entering the pocket, staying in there and touching you up in those close exchanges. He can grapple as well. He has takedowns in 9 of his 12 UFC fights. He has a submission in 3 of them. He's got slick upper body takedowns, great ground control. He's got good volume with around 6 significant strikes landed per minute and an impressive 72% takedown defense. He's coming off the decision win over Morgan Charrier, where he had lots of leg kicks early, and he actually dropped Morgan in that fight. And this is another, I was surprised to see Nathaniel as a dog. And I understand that Delgado is an insane finisher. We saw it in his last fight. Haider Emil was supposed to have a head like a fire hydrant, and Jose Delgado threw a knee up the middle and got it done. But Nathaniel is very good. He's got a great resume. He's got wins over John Castaneda, Charles Rosa, Charles Jourdain, Andre Fili, and now Morgan Charrier. Those are good fighters. And he's out there getting these wins. Each of those wins are better than Jose Delgado's best win. And obviously, MMA math is dumb. But at this point, I'm just making the point that Nathaniel Wood is an experienced fighter. And if we have a relatively close skill set, I'm going to lean towards the experience. Nathaniel's faster. I think he's busier. He's certainly more experienced. Jose has only been a hammer. I'm interested to see what happens if he's the nail for a few minutes here. Nathaniel's going to be the pick. I actually threw a little itty-bitty, teeny-weeny half a unit on him at these plus 133 odds. And then we have the fight simulator. If you didn't know, I have a website, wewantpicks.com. On that website, we have a full list of picks, a full list of bets, and a whole suite of tools. We have everything that you, your neighbor, your cousin, your aunt's sister, your uncle, and his roommate, we have tools for all of you. It is only $10 for an entire month. You can unlock everything. There's no package. It's $10. It's all of it. No upsell, no cross sell, no like, but the premium. No, $10 for all of it. One of those tools, one of many, is the fight simulator. This takes every fight on the card. It simulates it 100,000 times, and it gives you the outputs. Not only is the simulator going to say, hey, I think this person wins this fight. It's going to say, hey, in my 100,000 simulations, this fighter landed 82 significant strikes on average and got 2 takedowns on average. And you can take all that information and go to your sports book and bet the over-under on takedown lines and on strike lines. Check it out. Check everything out. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's freaking $10. And if you time it well, which means sign up now, not only do you get UFC 321, but also UFC 322 monster card as well. Then we have Mateusz Rebecki with an insanely quick turnaround. This guy's face was just in 19 pieces, what it felt like 2 weeks ago, and he's taking on Ludovit Klein. Mateusz Rebecki, relentless. This guy is an absolute dog. When he wants to grapple, he marches forward, he bombs 1-2s, and he starts diving at legs. But even if he doesn't want to grapple, he can hang around for a striking match. The reality is, every single thing this guy does with intent. He's shooting takedowns with intent. He's bombing away with intent. When he gets you to the ground, he is looking for a finish. He can be reckless. It leaves him open on the feet. It gives his opponents space to work. but he's got solid cardio, especially considering the pace that he sets. He is sloppy as shit, but this guy gets in the wars. Most recently, Chris Duncan got the best of him in a very close back and forth fight. He's taking on Ludovit Klein, a very good striker. He's smooth, he's fast, he's accurate. He does a really nice job keeping fights technical, hiding kicks behind his jab. He never throws anything lazy. He never gets out of position. He's got a solid 76% takedown defense, and that was actually 90% before his last fight against Gamrot. He will look to offensively wrestle if he's losing the striking exchanges. He's coming off that decision loss to Gamrot, where despite defending 5 takedowns, he ended up giving up 6. I love Mateusz Rebecki. This guy is a savage. He never stops moving forward. He is all heart. He just lost to Chris Duncan, but if he didn't wear damage, or if he wore it even a little bit better, I actually think he wins that fight. He landed more strikes, more significant strikes. He had the only takedowns in that fight. Genuinely, Mateusz Rebecki is one of the best fighters in the division at every individual skill. He's got savagery, things you could never teach. The problem, even though he can be in the conversation with people like Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, just as far as get into a war is concerned, is that this dude wears damage. You give him a dirty look from across the hall, his eyes are bleeding and he's swollen. This guy can't be flicked without cutting him wide open. And you can't be in fights against really good strikers like Ludovit Klein if you're going to wear the damage like that. He gets bloodied in the first round. It doesn't even matter what happens the next 2 rounds because all the judges see is him soaked in blood, and that is my issue here. The reality is he is a good fighter, and if he didn't cut as easily, I would be picking him here to beat Ludovit Klein because he's not going to care about Ludovit's technical strike. He's just going to move forward and bomb away and grab legs. Gamrot just took Ludovit down 6 times. Why can't Mateusz Rebecki? But he bleeds like a son of a bitch. What is the expression, a pig in heat? Which is disgusting. If you think, you know what that means? We're talking about a pig on its period. Why is that an expression? That is disgusting. I just grossed myself out. Mateusz Rebecki, unfortunately, cannot be the pick with how bloody this dude was a month ago heading into this fight. I think he's a phenomenal underdog. If you want to take the shot, I'm going to pick Ludovit Klein. I'm going to wait for these prop bets. And if I get lucky, the line widens and widens and widens. And then I can bet Mateusz Rebecki at plus 3.5. This way he can win a round and then be a bloody mess and the other ones will get taken from him. I love Rebecki, but the guy just bleeds too damn much. Like a pig in heat. That's a girl pig on her period. Isn't that disgusting? Then we have Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady taking on Mateusz Camilo. Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady's name is so long, it's just dots on half the website. They don't even bother. They just wrote Abdul, There you go, figure out the rest. The reality is, this guy's a good fighter, though. The name is long, the fights are not. He's got forward pressure striker. He never sits still. He's constantly working on fast twitch actions. He's got a low stance. He ducks his chin. He pumps out feints. He likes to close that distance and then just fire overhands. And while he does have plenty of movement and plenty of feints, this guy gets hit a shit ton. His takedown defense is solid, but mostly based in just raw speed more than anything. What he does do well is bait people into a striking war because you're hitting them, you're comfortable, and then bang, there comes a takedown. He is coming off that UFC debut loss and 3 canceled flights a year ago. He made his debut a year ago. He's had 3 fights since then. All of them have been canceled. Let's see if this one sticks. He's taking on Mateusz Camilo, an aggressive guy. He can strike or grapple. He's got plenty of power, plenty of cardio, a good chin, a whole bag full of submissions. He will plot forward. He will let his hands fly. He will embrace the chaos. He's going to jump to positions, and that's the problem. He will be in a solid position and good to go, and then he will leave it. He will jump. He will chase his submission and just abandon what he had. That actually led to his loss to Gabe Green, and that's what happened in his last fight. He had looked good early. He had a nice takedown. He was on top, and then he said, you know what? I know I'm winning. I know I'm in control. I'm going to roll for a triangle, and then his dumbass got submitted. This is a fun fight, though. This should be really fun. It's a tough fight pick, though, because both of these guys will get after it. And they'll do whatever it takes to find a finish. But I am going to slightly lean long name. And that's because he will be a little bit faster. And when Camilo starts chasing and starts doing wild shit to try to find a finish, I expect Al-Selwady to be able to touch him once or twice for every, one strike that comes back from Camilo. I think he'll beat him to the punch, be a little faster. I think Camilo's going to start swinging wild, trying to find a finish. And Kareem can just be a little more accurate. Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady is going to be the pick. I'm doing nothing with that information. I'm doing nothing. Then we have Jaqueline Amorim taking on Mizuki Inoue. Pick Jaqueline, bet on Jaqueline, minus 450 is a gift from the heavens. The reality is Jaqueline Amorim is a very talented grappler. She's a no-gi and a BJJ gi world champion grappler. She's got blast doubles, a shit ton of submissions. She also has power in her hands. She's a genuine threat on the feet or on the ground. She comes forward aggressively. She looks to engage immediately. Her striking is a bit wide. It's raw, but who cares? The power is there. And if you engage and she takes you down, well, then you're screwed. She's coming off that win over Polyana Viana where she had an instant takedown and got it done. That snap was weak. We're going to redo the snap so you guys know I'm a man. Nope. Okay. We're going to do it righty. Lefty's not working. And then she had an instant takedown. Oh, there we go. That was, if you're listening with headphones, you just got goosebumps. And anybody who calls them goose pimples instead of goosebumps, that's fucking weird. Don't do that. Stop. That's such a weird thing to say. Why would you say that? Taking on Mizuki Inoue. This woman has been a professional fighter since she was 16 years old. And as you can imagine, 15 years later, 15 years worth of experience under her belt, she's pretty well-rounded. For the most part, busy striker. She doesn't have any real power, but plenty of volume. She can sneak in a takedown or two when she needs. She's fighting for only the second time in 5 years, and I'm not expecting a title run anytime soon. Jaqueline is minus 450. She should be minus 4,500. She's got powerful striking, great takedowns, great groundwork. She's fought more than once in the last century. She's going to be the pick, and honestly, one of the safest bets on this card. All right, here we go. And then we have the next 4 fights. Listen, I opened this up with a soliloquy, a beautiful poem about the crisp air and the leaves. We talked about Tom Aspinall's belt, and it was a magnificent moment that you and I shared when I basically said that poem to you about what was to come the rest of this year. But here's a visual representation of what's to come the next month. Not only do we have this card, UFC 321, which is objectively a good card, we also have a pretty solid fight night. Right after that, another solid fight night. Right after that, UFC 322. UFC 322 is within a 1 month period of right now, which means if you go to the website, wewantpicks.com, and if you click become a member, you pay $10. If you do that, you will have access to every pick, every bet, every tool that we offer, not just for this card, all 4 of these cards. You get 2 monster pay-per-views. This doesn't happen a lot. Usually it's a 1 pay-per-view window. To get 2 pay-per-views for $10 is absurd. And if you're watching this and you thought about, what are we being cheap for? What are you saving for? Honestly, it's $10. Unbelievable. You just ate the shit. I'm not going to get into it. I can't fat shame given my current physical situation. Then we have the address. UFC 322 is obviously a pay-per-view. UFC 321, also a pay-per-view. For pay-per-views, we film vlogs. The boys hang out. We cook food. I just fat shamed you, but I will eat and cook a shit ton of food on these vlogs. And if you want to check out a vlog, great. They're usually posted the Sunday right after the event. If you want me to open a letter that you send, read a letter that you send us, and we've gotten a ton of, Jacob got a blow-up doll last year. If you want to send something for the vlog, we will open it, we will read it, I will eat it if it's in its original packaging. No Ziploc bags. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. Then we have Ikram Aliskerov taking on Jun Young Park. Ikram Aliskerov, Russian wrestler, and his hands have looked so good in the UFC, he hasn't needed to wrestle. When he is wrestling, he's got nonstop pressure, good body locks, nice tie-ups, good shots. When he gets you to the ground, he is like an 8th layer of skin, and he is impossible to shake. The striking is quickly improving. He's got a nice high guard, solid combinations, good power. He is coming off that First round KO win over Andre Muniz, where he just marched forward and threw hard, taking on Jun-Young Park. This guy's a well-rounded fighter. He's got a nice jab, good cage control, solid setups, and good takedowns. He's pretty good everywhere, but absolutely great nowhere. He's just good. He's not amazing. He can grapple. He can strike. He can wrestle. But he's not great at anything. He's got no real power. He's not going to knock anybody out. He typically grinds his way to decisions, and he's insanely tough. He's coming off that win over Ishmael, where he took an illegal knee, and he kept fighting with a closed eye, which is a testament to how insanely tough he is. But sometimes toughness is not enough. If you are an MMA mathematician, then you have your mortgage on Ikram, because Ikram knocked out Andre Muniz. Park lost to him in a decision where he was taken down 11 times. I could just leave this breakdown there. Park's not the better striker. He's not the better grappler, and I don't think he's winning this fight. Ikram's the pick. I do expect a decision, though, because of how tough Park is. And anybody who's like, Ikram was knocked out by Robert Whittaker, you're forgetting that he took that fight on a week's notice on the other side of planet Earth. That guy left his home country, went to Vegas. While in Vegas, they said, hey, buddy, why don't you go over to Saudi Arabia? Went over to Saudi Arabia. Like, that was just a wild 7 days for him. You can't fault him for what happened there. Then we have 2 bags of marshmallows that you put in the microwave on high for 30 seconds and then pulled out. We got Chris Barnett taking on Hamdy Abdelwahab. Chris Barnett, he doesn't look like it, but this guy's athletic as shit. Shockingly dynamic. He's got very real power. He will manage to land strikes, even though he almost always is the shorter fighter with the shorter reach. He hasn't taken his career too seriously in the past, but we have seen flashes of dedication. He seems to be back to just loafing around. We'll see on the scale, but if this picture is any indication of what we're going to get, we can expect an athletic, a fun Chris Barnett, but not a dedicated one. If he doesn't take over early with his raw talent, he doesn't typically win fights. He's coming back after a year away and a knockout to Kennedy in Chukwu. He's taking on Hamdy Abdelwahab. I don't know why I love saying that last name. This guy's an Olympic wrestler. He doesn't look like it, but he is an Olympic wrestler for the Egyptian Olympic team, but he's actually based out of New York. He is a comfortable striker, but he's a bit slow, and those punches are telegraphed. He does have some power in his overhand right, and he uses that to set up takedowns. He has gotten a little too used to striking, and he doesn't wrestle nearly enough, and I assume it's because he doesn't trust his cardio, but it's insanely frustrating watching an Olympic wrestler not wrestle. Imagine that. We're going to break down Mackenzie Dern later. She's not even an elementary school level wrestler, and she'll try. Hamdy's an Olympic wrestler, doesn't even attempt. The frustration there was magnified in his last fight where he lost to Muhammad Usman in what was a staring contest. These odds are obscene. These are obscene. Hamdy at minus 450 is one of the more disgusting things I've seen in a couple of weeks. I think I need to remind people that he's a fat turd who popped for steroids while being fat. He was built like a turkey on steroids. They weren't working. Imagine your body rejecting steroids so badly that if he ran, you would hear his tits flopping around. The reality is this guy went to a split decision with Jamal Pogues. He lost to Muhammad Usman in a fight where he did nothing. Hamdy is terrible at fist fighting. He is boring to watch. How he is still employed is beyond me. I'm going to pick Chris. And while I fully recognize he's also a little fat and he's kind of old, he's not afraid to actually fight. This guy will go for it. I'll pick the guy who will move forward and throw punches over the guy hoping to coast to a decision. Do not bet on this fight. Just leave it alone. This is going to be a sloppy mess. Full disclosure, I know Chris. I spent time with him in Turkey. I managed professional fighters for a very long time. Chris was the poster child for the XFC. I had a bunch of fighters on that card. I had Parker Porter, Mariana Kafetz, Ryan Quinn. We all went to Turkey, actually the island of Cyprus. But we went to Turkey, then jumped over to the island of Cyprus for this event. It was spectacular. I spent a whole week with Chris, flying across the world and hanging out with him. Dude could not be cooler. So is there some bias here? Maybe. But nothing I said was a lie. Picking the cool kid, fuck the slop. And then we have Azat Maxim taking on Mitch Rapasso. You guys might be like, oh, he's going to pick Mitch because they're both Northeast guys and they talk funny. Nope. We got Azat Maxim. This guy's fast. He's dangerous. Pretty well-rounded skill set. He can pick people apart on the feet with technique. He can drop them with power. He can out-scramble them. He can out-wrestle them. He can out-grapple them. He is genuinely one of the more talented guys in the UFC. His composure is impressive. He is comfortable everywhere. He is, however, riding back-to-back losses, most recently a close decision to Dagir Ulanbekov, taking on Mitch Raposo, a New England cartel guy, and he basically fights like the rest of them. He's got clean boxing, clean striking, and giant wrestling gaps. He is young. He's only 27 years old, but he has been training since middle school. He's had a few cracks at the UFC. He had a loss on The Ultimate Fighter, short notice loss in the Contender Series to Jake Hadley, most recently back-to-back losses in the actual UFC, but he's young. He's evolving. He has more power than most, clean striking. He's comfortable in the cage. He's a tough kid. He can be hittable, though, because his hands are low, but he's got a good enough chin. Azat should dominate here. The odds kind of indicate that at minus 350. I get that both of these guys are on two-fight skids, but their losses are not the same. Azat is losing close fights to established guys. Azat's loss to Dagir is more impressive than any win that Mitch has. Find me a Mitch Raposo win that was more impressive than Azat's loss to Dagir. Azat defended 8 of those Dagestani takedowns. He got 3 of his own, and he landed more strikes. Azat is the pick. And the fact that he is a lesser favorite than Hamdy Abdelwahab is an insult to MMA. The fact that Azat Maxim is only minus 350 and Hamdy is minus 450 is absurd. That is absurd. There's got to be a glitch somewhere. Then we have the app. I have an app. Jacob has an app. Josh the Web Guy has an app. We have an app. Go to the App Store, search We Want Picks. The app is as free could be. You download it, and it works for free. You'll get push notifications for free. Now, if you want access to the premium stuff, that'll be $10. But everything we offer is inside of the app. You don't need the app. You can just use the website, but the app will get you some push notifications. Inside the app, you'll have full access to every tool, including the data analyzer. If you like to look at data and stats, if you like to do research on future cards, Data Analyzer's got you set up. You select your event, you select your fighter, it'll line up the data points between that fighter, their opponent, and then you can filter that data. Really deep dive and find your spots and take that knowledge to the sports books. We have the Fight Simulator, which I mentioned earlier. It simulates fights 100,000 times, and it gives you the individual outputs and what happens along the way. The line movement tracker. This will give you opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every fighter on every card. The Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. The new optimizer. This will not only build DraftKings fantasy lineups, but also FanDuel fantasy lineups. And on top of that, it has the industry's first beginner mode. You click one button, it clicks over to beginner mode. And now instead of needing to understand what ownership projections are and exposure, it'll just ask you normal, logical questions and do the rest for you. We have a tape index. For those of you who like to do tape study, we are only a few months away from the UFC moving from ESPN to Paramount. I promise you, when that happens, trying to find these fights to do research is going to be a bit of a nightmare. But we, the boys, We Want Picks, Big Ange, Jake, Josh, all of us have you hooked up. Inside of the tape index, you're going to get every card now and in the future. You're going to get the fighter, their full fight history, and if there's a little red play button, you click it, the video pops up, and you are off to the races. Every single thing I just mentioned is only $10. It's $10 for all of that. There's a bunch of other stuff as well. You'll get 2 pay-per-views if you sign up now. UFC 321, UFC 322, and the 2 fight nights in between, you cheap. Nah, I'm just fucking around. I appreciate every last one of you. We've got thousands of premium members. The reason it's $10 is because I fully recognize a lot of us are doing this for fun, trying to make a couple extra bucks, enjoy the weekend, maybe make enough to buy something nice. So to sit here and charge you, what, $100 for a list of bets like some weird online scammer? No, it's $10. It is the greatest offering this space has ever seen. And if you're here for fantasy, we got you. If you're here for bets, we got you. You just want to see picks, we got you. Raw notes, we got you. You just want to support the boys, you got us. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Don't forget, UFC 321, 322 are vlogs. If you want to send something for me to open and read, potentially eat on the vlog, we want pics. P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. Don't be shy. Send something. I will promote your small business. You're here supporting me by watching. I'll support you by reading. And finally, if you want to leave an opinion, we do have a voicemail box. 1-866 We Want Pics. That's 866-939-2687. Leave a message for the boys. Depending on the message, we will play it on the show. We're going to open up the main card. This fight order is definitely going to change. This fight should actually be the featured fight. But we're going to open up the main card as of right now between Umar Nurmagomedov, Mario Batista, what I have to assume is a bantamweight title eliminator. Merab just announced that he will be fighting at UFC 323, defending his belt for a fourth time in a calendar year, which is the first time that has ever happened. He's doing so against Petr Yan. He didn't want to wait to see the outcome of this fight because, to me, whoever wins this fight is far more deserving than Petr Yan, but let's go ahead and break this down. We have Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Mario Batista. And I say Mario instead of Mario. Deal with it. Umar Nurmagomedov, he's exactly who you think he is. Less of a beard than the rest of them. I mean, this actually just looks like he could be, I mean, that could be, what ethnicity could he be in this picture? That could be Ukrainian. I guess that's pretty close to Russian anyway. Let's see. French. He could be French with this little scruffy beard. He could be Mexican. That could be a Mexican. He doesn't have the full Dagestani beard. Just like a nice little, a 2 on the Manscaped. Nice little beard. And a little bit of a stash, too. He's the most fashionable of the Nurmagomedovs, but he fights mostly like them. He's got that karate-style striking. He's got incredible kicks. He manages range ridiculously well. And then when he wants to wrestle, he wrestles. He gets his takedowns, and if he misses, there's another one right behind it, that good old-fashioned Dagestani chain wrestling. He's coming off that decision loss to Merab Dvalishvili, where he won the first 2 rounds, then broke his hand, and he gave up the next 3. He's taking on Mario Batista. A high-volume, get-one-to-give-one style striker. He sets a good pace. He's always plodding forward. He's always light in his feet. He lands an impressive 6 significant strikes per minute, but is hit with almost 5. He has been steadily evolving in his last few fights. He is now on an 8-fight win streak. Most recently, that win over Patchy Mix, where he landed an impressive 173 significant strikes against what is probably the worst signing the UFC has had in 2025. I know a ton of you are going to comment, you probably already did, and argue Umar didn't beat Merab the first 2 rounds. Well, the fact is, you're wrong. You're wrong. He literally did. That's an objective fact. That's not an opinion. And I can prove that fact with the scorecards. The official UFC scorecards from that fight show Umar won the first 2 rounds on 2 judges' scorecards and then went 1-1 on a 3rd judge's scorecard. If that was a 3-round fight, Umar wins that fight. He broke his hand in that 3rd round. Therefore, lost the rest of them. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is Umar is good. He is very good. He manages range well. He has incredible wrestling. And when his hand is in one piece, solid cardio as well. Umar is going to be the pick. I don't think Mario is going to get away with that random forward or cage control pressure. I don't think he's going to get an older Jose Aldo that can't get off the cage. I don't think he's going to get a Patchy Mix that's just like frozen in time, standing there like a fool. I think he's going to get a busy, active Umar. It's 3 rounds. Umar wins this fight. -420. He'll probably look it. Then we have Alexander Rakic taking on Azamat Murzakanov in another fight with some closely contested odds that are somewhat surprising to me. We got Alexander Rakic, a dynamic striker. He uses his length and his reach to out-technique most people. He out-decisions a lot of his opponents. He mixes in kicks really well. He has no issues transitioning from leg kicks to head kicks while moving forward. And while he does have some power, he likes to fight in the outside, not necessarily look for a brawl. He's a low-volume, technical striker who uses footwork, distance, and control. He is riding a 3-fight skid. The most recent loss was to former world champion Magomed Ankalaev, RIP to that title reign. Taking on Azamat Murzakanov. He's a small dude. I would tower over this dude. Tower over him. Meanwhile, he is a wildly dangerous, wildly powerful light heavyweight. He is fast. He is heavy-handed. He has a knockdown in all 6 of his UFC fights. He's a good wrestler. He's got solid ground and pound, but his hands are so good, he doesn't need the takedowns or the wrestling. He's coming off that knockout win over Brinson Ribeiro, where he was clean and powerful. And when I saw these odds and I saw Azamat was almost even money, it took me by surprise. Rakic is not very dangerous. He's on a 3-fight skid. But then I remembered, I did the tape study. I saw with my eyes a couple of Azamat's wins. His win over Dustin was headed to a loss without that knockdown. Same story with Tafon and Chukwi. He's only 5'10", so a safe, distant striker who has no problem being boring on the outside, like Rakic, could pitter-patter his way to a win. So now the odds are starting to make a little more sense to me, but I am still going to lean Mirzakhanov. I think Rakic is too safe, too low volume, and honestly, too used to losing at this point. I have seen him put out before, and I think it's going to happen again. Azamat Mirzakhanov's the pick. We'll see if these odds widen or tighten, and I might sprinkle a little bit on him. Then we have Alexander Volkov taking on Jailton Almeida. Alexander Volkov, a staple of this division, a mountain of a man. This guy's been a top 10 heavyweight for the last 7 years. He's a good striker, high fight IQ. He's fast. He's got volume. He picks his shots well. He will adapt in a fight. He will change up his game plan mid-fight. He doesn't have a lot of power for somebody as big as him, but the volume and the timing do suit him well. He's a very durable guy. He has fought the literal best heavyweights on the planet since 2016. He's coming off that decision loss to Cyril Gane, which was an absolute robbery. We'll talk about that in a little bit. He's taking on Jailton Almeida, a wrestling beast. He's got powerful hands, incredible grappling. All but one of his wins are by stoppage, and that's because of his non-stop pressure. He'll come in hot. He will relentlessly work for takedowns, and once he's on the ground, he's going to chase his submission. He will hit you in transitions. He has only ever been to one decision in the UFC, and even that was a dominant showcase. He's coming off that TKO win over Sergey Spivak, and I'm going to give you my disclosure here. I'm a huge Jailton fan. I've been rooting for this guy since day one, other than when he fought Parker Porter, because Parker Porter's a personal friend. Every fight outside of that, I have picked him, I have pushed him, and the Curtis Blades thing, That's bullshit. He just froze. He took that dude down 9 times in one round. Jailton's wrestling at heavyweight is literally the best we have ever seen. And I get it. I see the comments already. I fully understand. We have had some great heavyweight wrestlers. Randy Couture, Brock Lesnar, DC. But credentials aside, if I'm ignoring credentials, nobody is doing to people what Jailton is. Nobody can stop his takedowns. When he takes you down, he immediately looks for a finish. Volkov is the better MMA fighter. He is objectively the better fist fighter. But Jailton is just so good at this one thing and such a dominant wrestler, I think he gets Volkov to the ground immediately, and I think he has him in trouble. I'm going to pick Jailton. I think he deserves the next title shot with a win here. Jailton's the pick. Hopefully he doesn't let me down like that Curtis Blades fight. God, I still have PTSD. Then we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Virna Jandiroba taking on Mackenzie Dern. This fight is for the vacant strawweight title because former champion Weili Zhang has moved up to fight Valentina Shevchenko for the flyweight title. But not only is this a title fight, it's also a rematch from 5 years ago where Mackenzie Dern won a decision, and these odds have flipperinoed. Virna Jandiroba was the favorite just 2 days ago, and now she's squarely the dog. And it might have been Jacob's rant on our Tuesday night show. Jacob went on and on about Mackenzie beat her ass, and she's going to beat her again. But we'll talk about it. We got Virna Jandiroba, a grinder. Solid on the ground. Striking is just okay. She hits hard. She throws with solid volume. She does not have much head movement at all. And the stats tell that story as well. She got a negative striking differential. There are no secrets to her game plan. Throw big, heavy punches. Look for a takedown. She is 8-3 in the UFC, quickly becoming the best wrestler in this division. She's coming off that decision win over Yan Xiaonan, where she had 3 takedowns, 10 minutes of control time. She's taking on Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern's accent is fake, but her jiu-jitsu credentials are not. She's an amazing grappler. She has had mixed results in MMA. While her grappling remains elite, she has not progressed as well in the wrestling. The wrestling is just not improving. She has a horrific 17% takedown accuracy. That's some of the worst we've ever seen, especially from such a high-level grappler. But she is tough. Insanely tough, and there's no quit in her whatsoever. She's coming off that submission win over Amanda Ribas, which I witnessed live with Jacob back in January. I watched Jacob's soul leave his body when Mackenzie Dern found that finish. This is an interesting fight to break down because I recognize it was a rematch. But I don't care. I feel like I've been pretty vocal on this show about rematches that have happened years ago. Fighters change. The sport changes. People evolve. I don't care what happened in a fight 5 years ago, so I break them down as if they are new, and I ignore the past. If I am looking at this new and fresh, I see a nasty wrestler and a nasty grappler. I expect this entire fight to take place on the ground. My gut is telling me that Virna gets the takedown. She stays safe. She grinds out a win. My brain is saying that Mackenzie's only chance to win this fight is by submission, and she's going to be exactly where she wants to be, the ground, the entire fight. I'm going to go with the gut here. This big, beautiful bastard has served me well over the years, and I expect more of the same here. Virna's going to be the pick. The line sliding in the opposite direction will probably have me placing a bet on Virna by the end of this week. So let's monitor the movement. We have the tool on the website. I told you, the line movement tracker. It's going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. It is a great tool to just keep an eye on things. And if things are heading in the wrong direction, you wait. You wait. When they come back, bang, take your shot. And that's what I'm going to do here. Virna was the favorite. She's now the dog. And if she continues to become a bigger dog, I'm going to stay. Hey, easy, quiet Ange. If it starts to rebound, then I will take my shot and I'll place my bet. I'll probably have some action on Virna. I just think she's too good of a wrestler, and she's got good enough jiu-jitsu to stay safe. Amanda Ribas got smoked by Mackenzie because Amanda takes chances. Virna doesn't take chances. Then we have the main event of the evening. While we have somehow seen Tom Aspinall defend his title before, that was for an interim title. And now that Jon Jones has officially retired, Tom Aspinall will be defending the undisputed heavyweight championship for the first time in his career. Tom could possibly be the most well-rounded heavyweight in the UFC. He's got good striking. He's got solid wrestling. A BJJ black belt. He's got great hand speed, good defense, diverse stack tile. He's not just a striker. He has a 100% takedown accuracy, a 100% takedown defense. He can do all the things. He's coming off that knockout win over Curtis Blades more than a year and a half ago, but he's taking on Ciryl Gane, a technical striker who has high volume and a well-rounded arsenal. He has one of the best in-and-out striking games that we've seen in the heavyweight division. His striking differential is impressive, around 5-2, and that speaks to how incredible his footwork and his movement really is. He also uses that footwork to set up the occasional takedown. He's coming off that sketchy decision win over Alexander Volkov, where a lot of people, including me, thought that he lost that fight. I'm going to pick Tom, all right? Tom's the pick. We're not going to do anything crazy to try to look cool, all right? You know those people, just picking random fucking underdogs to be sweet. Because if they're right once in every 12 years, they look like a genius. And I'm not talking about Jacob, because Jacob puts his work in and he's picking underdogs every card consistently, not just shooting darts. I'm going to pick Tom. But let me just make a couple of weird points here first. Ciryl does not deserve to be here. Not only did he lose his last fight, I'd argue he's a failed prospect. And I have no idea why the UFC keeps just shoving him in the title fights. This is his third title fight. I fully expect him to go 0-3. The second point that I'm going to make that doesn't really matter to the outcome of this pick is we don't actually know how good Tom Aspinall is, and this one's going to piss you off. Sure, he beat the shit out of a bunch of people. Some of them were pretty good, but he has only fought 16 minutes in 9 UFC fights. None of us have any clue whatsoever what happens if Tom is in trouble. What happens if a fight goes long? Sure, he beat the piss out of everybody and he did it quickly. So that alone is obvious that he is a very good fighter, maybe even great. But on the scale of Chase Sherman to Stipe Miocic, I don't know where Tom is just yet. Tom's definitely the pick, and maybe this guy ends his career beating everybody in under 2 minutes, or maybe it's been a little too easy for him and sitting out for the last couple of years waiting for Jon Jones ruined the best part of his career. I don't know. I'm going to pick him. I don't think Ciryl belongs here. I think Tom beats Ciryl any way he wants to. So he is the pick, but I am curious to see what the future holds. Tom Aspinall is the pick, but let me make one last point. It would be nice. Okay, guys, relax. Stay with me. I know the English fans are going to hate this. It would be nice if Ciryl won. Because if Ciryl wins, the UFC will take Alex Pereira and be like, get that motherfucker. They're not going to give Alex Pereira to Tom Aspinall. And I don't want to see that because I think Tom runs through him. But I would watch Alex versus Ciryl. And I have bet for years, and by years I mean like 2. I want Alex Pereira to be the first ever 3-division champion. I think he's the only person that can do it. He's not going to do it against Tom. He could potentially do it against Cyril. So Tom's the pick. He's the better fighter. He should win this fight. But if I could pick, I'm going to pick 2 different outcomes for fun. Tom's the pick. Don't get weird. For fun. I want one outcome where Tom wins this fight, but it goes a little long and it gets a little dicey so that I can see what that looks like. Who gives a fuck how fast Jon Jones beats Cyril Gane? That's stupid. That's a dumb narrative that people are going to run with. If Tom Aspinall beats Cyril Gane in a dominant decision, people are going to say Jon Jones is better. He finished him. That's dumb. Who cares? Styles make fights. So I do want to see Tom in a little trouble. I want to see this fight go a little long. I just want to see what happens. Or 2, I want to see him lose so we can get Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane. Guys, that's the breakdown. Thank you for being here. While you're here, if you could click the subscribe button, that would make my day. I genuinely appreciate you. Every single one of you. We passed the 40,000 subscriber mark. These are numbers I never thought could imagine. Like, I am not built for the internet. I am not Mr. YouTube. I didn't have these grand aspirations of sitting here yelling at a webcam in my office. That is not something I planned on doing with my life. But COVID hit. My best friends and I were watching fights, and I've been watching forever, and I've been playing DraftKings Fantasy forever, at least since it started. And we started the league, and I brought more people in, and it got more and more exciting. And then I did my own research for the Friends DraftKings Fantasy League. I came across a couple of Canadian brothers, Fight Night Picks, and I started watching them to get insight, what probably a lot of you are doing here, so that I could make a winning DraftKings lineup against these idiot friends of mine. And then we got out of COVID and life is getting back to normal. I was like, dude, we could do this. It was me, Jacob, Dan Kramer, Nick Newell in the beginning. And then life got the better of Dan and Nick. And it was me and Jacob. And we did it. And we've been doing it. And some of you have been here since then. Some of you have been here for a week. Some of you are finding me right now. And you're like, God damn, that guy's good looking. I didn't know Ben Affleck broke down fights. But I appreciate all of you. And there's people hate watching right now, too. That's just the reality of the internet. Nobody is liked by everybody as much as you want to be. Believe me, nobody wants to be liked more than me. But the reality is I appreciate every last one of you with the most amount of sincerity that I could possibly express in this setting. None of this is possible. I love doing this. I love doing it with my best friend. I love doing it with you all. So hopefully you find this entertaining. Hopefully you get some joy out of this. And thank you for being here. If you're here and you haven't clicked the subscribe button, that would be nice. I'm about to ask you to do a couple of things, like download the app. The app's free. It's free. Costs me a ton of money. Free to you. And the reason I'm giving the app for free is I'm hoping you take the leap and you become a premium member, because inside the app or on the website, as a premium member, which is only $10, you'll have full access to everything we do, like the data analyzer, full-blown tool that'll break down any data point you could want, think of, or need. The fight simulator simulates fights 100,000 times. You can use those simulations to build DraftKings or FanDuel fantasy lineups. We have an optimizer that also builds DraftKings and FanDuel fantasy lineups. It's got a full-blown beginner mode. So if you don't know what any of these numbers means and you want to dip your toes in the water, it'll just ask you questions like, who do you think wins? Then you answer, and you're good to go. We have the line movement tracker to give you opening odds, current odds, win probability, line movement for every fighter and every card. The prop hunter, curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. The tape index for those of you who like to watch the fights with your own eyes and do your own research. And then, of course, we've got more than just my beautiful voice. It's me, Jacob, Artem, Betsam, and then an artificial intelligence picking fights based solely off of data. Every single thing I just mentioned, 15 things I didn't mention are available right now, not just for this card, but also UFC 322 and the Foo Fight Nights in between. Support your boys. In return, you're going to get the greatest offering this space has ever seen. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month's worth of access. And also, let me know what you thought about my theory. Am I the only one that would love to see Alex be a 3-division champ? Do you agree? Like, if Cyril loses, they probably shove Alex in a title fight. They won't do that rematch. Though I think the UFC would prefer Alex as champion than Tom. And it's not a slight on Tom. I think they just recognize Alex is a cash freaking cow. A cash cow. And Tom lost the most marketable years waiting for freaking Jon Jones. He was almost the new Michael Chandler. Let me know what you think of that theory. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Can't express that enough. Good luck this weekend.